As we are continuing the BNS series, this is our next lecture. We have completed till section number 44, that is general exceptions, and now we will continue with chapter 4 of abatement, criminal conspiracy, and attempt. So we are going to start with the section number 45 of that read as abatement of a thing. So basically, what is abatement? When some person, some crime is happening, and some person A is committing the crime in influence of some other person, that is abatement. The person influencing the person A that is committing some crime, that if I am influencing you that hey you whatever your name is, go and kill somebody or do something that is bad, so I will the punishment was given to the offender, but also given to me as I influence that person that go and do the some crime. So that person will be called as, and he is abating the crime. Okay. So section 45 read as abatement of a thing. A person abates the doing of a thing who first instigate any person to do that thing. पहला तो instigate करते, B engages with one or more other person or person in any conspiracy for the doing of that thing if an act or illegal omission take place in pursuance of that conspiracy, and in order to the doing of that thing. It is simply saying that clause B कि आप तो simply engaging with some person or more than two persons or involved in some conspiracy to do something illegal act or omission. Okay. The clause C intentionally aids by any act or illegal omission the doing of that thing. So it is simply simply saying that the clause C is saying that if you are facilitating some equipment or aiding the person who is committing the crime or in furtherance of his motive, you are adding or helping him out to do a crime. Likewise, your security guard, and you know he is going to do a crime, but you, what is your duty? Your duty is to protect the people, check any unauthorized person coming into the building. But the person come, you checked he has a gun, but you let him go inside. So it is also comes into this definition of abatement. There is explanation number one. A person who by willful misrepresentation or by willful concealment of a material fact which he is bound to disclose voluntarily, causing or cause or procure a thing to be done, it is to it is said to instigate the doing of that thing. Likely we are taking example like that, if you any person reasonable person those duties to protect some institution. Take example of bank. You know you are going you are working in a bank, you know some fraud was there going. Okay. But you do not I mean there is a fraud going on. Firstly the persons who is doing that fraud is taking giving you some money, and you know you take that money without your signature, there is no fraud can occur, but you do the signature on that paper and you procure or you give the passage to do the fraud, then you will be willfully, it should be the your act should be willful, means intentional. It is not likely you are acting in fear of injury. If you are acting in fear of injury, then it will be comes uh, into the protection of exceptions. But if you are intentionally giving passes to somebody or helping him out that in his crime, then you will be assumed as or abater. Okay, abatement of thing. Let's a public officer is authorized by a warrant from a court to apprehend jet. Means A is a public officer, or he has a warrant to catch jet. Knowing that fact that and also that C is not jet, willfully represented to A that C is jet and thereby intensely causes A to apprehend C. Here B abates the instigation, that instigation the apprehension of C. Here is illustration is saying that A is a police officer who has a warrant of jet, but he do not know how jet looks like. So in furtherance, he go and ask B that I wanted to apprehend this person, that is Jet. You know where he is. B knowingly knows that C is not that person. Tell A that C is the Jet and C is the Jet and public officer apprehended Jet. Here B abates the instigation, that apprehension of C, means false implicated. Here B falsely implicated or instigated that B and C. So B is here. Uh, B is here. What he do? B is here liable to the punishment for the abatement. Okay. Let's see the explanation second. Whoever, either prior to or at the time of the commission of an act, does anything in order to facilitate the commission of that act and thereby facilitates the commission thereof, is said to add the doing of that act. It is simply saying that if somebody is started to do some act, means he is looting the bank, and whatever he completed the looting of the bank and now they are running, but police are chasing them, but there is no cab. Suddenly one cab from back end comes and picked that looters, bank looters, and they went away from this situation. So the cab driver who come from behind the police officers, who have no instigation, no fear of injury, but help or provided the way of commission or facilitation, means you are helping out them in easy way. So it will also called as abatement of a thing. So we are moving to the next section, that is section number 46, abater. A person abates an offence, means either the commission of an offence or the commission of an act which would be an offense if committed by law, committing an offence with the same intention or knowledge as that of the abater. So it is simply that who is abater. So basically, what is defined in 45? If one person is facilitating the section or doing any act inside or purview of the section number 45, he should be called as abater. Let read as 46 what it says. A person abates an offence who abates either same thing. Let's see the explanation. The abatement of the illegal omission of an act may amount to an offence, although the abater may not himself be bound to do that act. Let's see, if abater knows that there is certain duty to check the person or maintain the list of the incoming person or person visiting some institution. So first thing, who is awaited means here is illegal omission. If someone is not mentioning in the diary that these person are coming, so if some thief is come and some other person influence that guard that do not take the or maintain the diary on that day, and on same day a thief has committed thief, so it is simply that he is abated. The person who influenced the guard to not to maintain the diary book. So if we maintain, so it is easier to catch the thief, okay, by some evidence, something. But he instigated or he affirmed the some other persons to illegally omit his duty, but he is bounded by the law, so it is called as illegal omission. Explanation number 2: to constitute the offense of abatement, it is not necessary that the act abated should be committed or that the effect requisite to constitute the offense should be cause. Illustration: A instigates B to murder C, but B refuses to murder, so A is guilty of abetting B to commit murder. So it is simply, generally what happened in criminal conspiracy, we study what is criminal conspiracy when two or more person agree to do some illegal work or illegal omission, okay. But for criminal conspiracy, should be punished for criminal conspiracy in lieu of conspiracy some act or something has done, then you will be punished for that criminal conspiracy. But here is abatement. Abated B to murder C, but B refused to do so, although here is no act in furtherance of that abatement has done, but despite there is no movement, there is no act, a crime has happened, although A has instigated B, therefore A is guilty of abating B to commit murder. So it is very simple. Not remember, if anyone has abated, he will be guilty, whether crime happen or not. Let's see. B. A instigate B to murder D. B in pursuance of the instigation stabs D. D recovers from the wound. A is guilty of instigating B to commit murder. So it is simply that. And if you instigated B or you abated B to murder Z, but in furtherance of that abatement, if B has attacked Z and Z simply incurred some grievous hurt but not died, and he later recovered, but as A has abated Z for murder, so he will be punished for the abatement. Let's see the explanation 3. It is not necessary that the person abated should be capable by law of committing an offense, that he should have the same guilty intention or knowledge as that of the abater, or any guilty intention or the knowledge. It is so. It is simply saying, explanation number 3 is saying that who the person who is influenced by the abater, the person who is abated, it is not necessary that I am some physically or spatially abled person. I mean, a person is influencing or abating some physically abled person if he is committed, or he is like, what happened when we read, I forget this in specific section, that anything done by the age below the age of child below the age of 7 is no offense, and next section following is saying that between this age of 7 or 12, no offense, no act is offense. So here an adult is abetting the child of 11 year to go and kill his father by putting poison in his food. So the illustration or explanation third is saying that the person abated is no not matter here much for abatement. If someone is abating, he will be guilty, okay, but it is not necessary to person be capable of doing that offense in eye of law, or he has same intention or same knowledge as the abater. So it is example that a person abated Z, who is a child of 11 years, to kill his father for whatever reasons to get the food and poison into that. Okay, so it is very important to understand the easy thing, what can fit into that. So let's see the example illustration. Illustration A. A with a guilty intention abates a child or a person of unsound mind. Here, same thing is saying that child who is child is exempted. There are two sections where the child is exempted. First, the child below 7 years. Secondly, the child of after the age of 7 or below the age of 12. A person of unsound mind to commit an act which would be an offense if committed by a person capable by law of committing an offense and having the same intention as a. Here a whatever the act be committed or not, he is guilty of abetting the offense. Okay, so he is abetting the be child or a person who is having unsound mind, and in furtherance of that abatement, they if there is some offense occur or not, he is guilty of the abating an offense. Same thing I explained you. Let's read B. A with the intention of murdering Z instigate B, a child under 7 years of age, to do an act which causes Z's death. B in consequences of the abatement does the act in the absence of A and thereby causes Z's death. Here, though B was not capable by law of committing an offense, he is liable to be punished in the same manner as B had been capable of law of committing an offense and had committed murder, and he is therefore subjected to the punishment of the death. So same thing I explained you. Let's read explain clause 3. A is to get B to set fire to a dwelling house, B in consequences of his unsoundness of mind, being incapable of knowing the nature of the act, or that he is doing what is wrong or contrary to law, set fire to the house in consequences of his instigation. B has committed no offense, but is guilty of abetting the offense of setting fire to a dwelling house and is liable to the punishment provided for that offense. Same thing but different examples. Let's see the D. A intending to cause a theft to be a committed instigate B to take property belonging to Z out of Z possession. A induces B to believe that the property belong to A. B takes that property out of Z possession in good faith, believing it to be A's property. B actor be acting under this misconception does not take dishonestly and therefore does not commit theft, but is guilty of avoiding theft and is liable to the same punishment as if B had committed theft. Here is simply saying that there is exceptions. I already have lectures on the exceptions under BNS, chapter number 3. You can go and watch. Explanation number 4. The abatement of an offense being an offense, the abatement of such an abating also an offense. Illustration A. Here is what is its explanation says that offense, there is an offense, and abating of that offense is an offense. You know, the abatement of an being an offense. इसमें क्या बोल रहा है कि एक ऑफेंस होगा और ऑफेंस abatement of that offense, there are, first thing clearly think about that there is one offense murder, and there is second offense that is abatement of the offense murder. So these two are different offenses. Okay, and so one person will be liable for the abatement of the one, and second person is liable to be abatement of the abating the abatement of the murder. I will read it, it will be clear. The abatement of an offense being an offense, the abatement of such an abatement is also an offense. इलस्ट्रेशन पढ़ते हैं, बहुत ही अच्छा है. ए इंस्टिगेट बी टू इंस्टिगेट सी टू मर्डर जेट. ए ने बोला बी को कि आप उसको सी को जाके इंस्टिगेट करें कि वो मर्डर करे जेट का. तो यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि यहाँ पे दो हो रहे हैं. बी अकॉर्डिंगली इंस्टिगेट सी टू मर्डर जेट एंड सी कमिट दैट offense and consequences of B instigation. B is liable to punish for his offense with the punishment for murder. And A instigated B to commit the offense, A is also liable to the same punishment. So I am reading it from starting. A instigates B. Okay. A, who is A? A is instigating B to instigating C to murder Z. So here is same thing that abatement of an offense being an offense, अबेटमेंट ऑफ अन ऑफेंस कि एक ऑफेंस है उसका अबेटमेंट भी एक ऑफेंस है, और अबेटमेंट ऑफ दैट ऑफेंस कि मतलब एक मर्डर है और मर्डर का अबेटमेंट करना भी ऑफेंस है. लेकिन कोई तीसरा पर्सन है वो बोल रहा है कि हम अबेटमेंट करेंगे कौन से ऑफेंस करने के लिए कि अबेटमेंट ऑफ मर्डर, वो जो ऑफेंस है वो ऑफेंस करने के लिए हम अबेटमेंट करेंगे. सो हियर इज illustration you will clearly understand. A instigate B. कौन? A instigate B. Here is first thing. B to instigate C. मतलब A is influencing B to influence C for murdering Z. Okay, so it is very easy. You will read 1 or 2 times, you will understand. It is not necessary to the commission of the offense of abatement by conspiracy that the abatement should concert the offense with the person who commits it. It is sufficient if he engages in the conspiracy in pursuance of which the offense is committed. So it is saying that it is not necessary that whole person or group of persons will interact with each other. It is very clear when we read the illustration. A concert with B a plan for poisoning Z. It is agreed that A shall administer the poison. B then explains the plan to C, mentioning that a third person is to administer the poison, but without mentioning his name. C agrees to procure the poison and procures and delivers it to B for the purpose of its being used in the manner explained. A administered the poison, Z dies in consequence. Here, though A and C have not conspired together, yet C has been engaged in the conspiracy in pursuance of which Z has been murdered. C has therefore committed the offense defined in this section and is liable to the punishment for murder. here is simply saying that it is not necessary that two or more persons has conspired together or been on same table. If in that conspiracy, abetment through conspiracy happening or extending through different member at different time, likewise you are going to looting the bank. So first you need the someone, you are four person, okay, you know you are going to, and you plan that one person is outside the bank, person will go inside the bank. Suddenly what happened, three person come go inside the bank and one person is outside the bank. Then he is on the cab and he explained everything that three person is going into bank, and I am the helping hand from outside the bank. And the driver is ready to take part into that conspiracy, so he is also the abater into this and liable for the same punishment. So it is thank you so much for watching this series, and I will surely continue this series, and thank you for your support. And it is very necessary to give feedback if any person feel that it should be corrected or improved in which areas. So I will think or try to improve that area. And I already, if nobody has asked, but am I just going to tell you that I have a severe fever, typhoid, low platelets, or I'm being not having a good health, but I'm recovering. So that is why in few days I'm not able to, past few days I'm not able to upload the series. But I try to be a bit regular, or as I'm recovering, so I try to be much regular and covering more topics or more sections of BNS. So thank you so much to tune with Drafting Center.